Welcome to Isla Verde, the first city in my Cities Skylines gameplay series. I am looking forward to building unique cities using the maps that come with Cities Skylines and its downloadable content packs. This first city will be built using the Marin Bay map. I like to start my cities in one of the corners so that I can make the best use of the entire map. You may have noticed I purchased all the areas allowable on the map. I have my gameplay set to unlimited money. Starting the city out in a grid pattern makes it easy to manage growth and traffic later. This single-lane road with a median is one of my favorites to start because we can upgrade in the future without disrupting the city too much. This part of the map has access to a highway. There is another highway below, but for now we will just be using this top highway. My favorite way to play this game is to allow cities to grow organically based on where the resources are, much like real-life cities. Now that the grid is done here, let's go up to the top of the map. Because this part is on a hill, it's very difficult to make it into a grid. I'm setting it up as a neighborhood because we need housing, but in the event of high unemployment where I can no longer zone for businesses, this can easily be changed into a park. I'm thinking it may become a natural reserve in the future. I also added the first of our utilities here. I'm using a solar updraft tower as the first piece for electricity since my town is small. As it grows, I'm going to look for different power plants that conserve space and are more efficient, but the solar updraft tower works for now. I'm also using these high-efficiency water towers. With our utilities in, it's time to start adding some zoning to get people moving in. I always prefer to have housing on the edge of the city to take advantage of the serenity of the edge of cities. Also, when it comes to zoning, I like to take advantage of the industry's DLC by using the buildings and zoning to harvest local resources, and this area has plenty of green space for trees. I'm decided to take the waste out of the city using this eco-friendly water treatment plant that came with the Sunset Harbor DLC. I'm still working on purchasing all of the DLCs myself, but I currently have Industries, Sunset Harbor, Park Life, Pearl of the East, which is free, and Mass Transit. Park Life was my newest purchase, and this will be my first time using it in a city. We have everything working smoothly so far. Industry demand has come up, so it's time to add our forestry industrial zone. You start by adding the main building and then use the industrial zoning tool for specialized zoning to spread the area out how you want. I'm going to just do these 2 tiles here for now because I want to make sure I don't overzone for industry. With industrial demand still high, I'm going to expand the zone even further. By the way, if you click on the zone's name, you can actually rename it. I like to do that once an area has been built out so I can see how the individual neighborhood is doing. For now, I'm going to leave the name as is. One of the cool things about using the content that came with the Industries DLC is that you can pick the type of natural resource you produce depending on the industry. In this one, you can pick different types of trees. I'm going to select a variety for this area. Now that industry demand has gone down, I'm going to add some more housing down near the highway to take advantage of the commercial space nearby. I like to keep the areas next to the highway as either industrial or commercial. Since I don't have the no pollution mod on, it also keeps my citizens from getting sick. Looks like we have illness spreading. I'm using this small clinic in this upper neighborhood on the corner. Since it's a small area and we have very few citizens, there's no need for a hospital just yet. So now that our first section is built out, you can see we have a little commercial demand building up, so I'm going to expand towards the east. I'm just going to keep expanding the city over. This is a master plan grid of sorts. I'm going to add another highway intersection over here also because in the future, I'm anticipating a lot of traffic in this area since it is the gateway to the city, at least the northwest gateway. Residential demand is up, so I'm going to add more housing over here near the new highway intersection. I'm also going to add some industrial. It wasn't attached to the forestry zone on the other side, so I decided to keep it as heavy industrial for factories. As I mentioned earlier, I just purchased Park Life, so I'm curious to see what this tour map overlay looks like. I don't have any points of interest yet, so I'm not going to lay anything down just yet. Right now, my focus is to grow the city to start developing an economy. Since this area has forestry industrial, I'm going to add highway interchange over here on the edge of the city. This should allow any trucks coming in to exit early and reduce traffic on the other two interchanges. I didn't like how the first one looked, so I moved it up to the last street in the city. Looks like citizens are passing away. I'm going to use this high-capacity crematorium. Infrastructure is very important, including death care, but I don't think it should take up large swathes of the city. At least not for my cities. Our forestry farm has 2 stars currently. In order to upgrade it, you need to add more buildings. I decided to expand the industrial area out to the area we zoned as heavy industrial so that I could add more production factories that will use the forestry resources to produce products. I added a biomass pellet factory, an engineered wood factory, and a pulp factory. I also added more forestry areas to fill up the space. Now that the city has covered the northern area, I'm going to extend south, but I'm going to cut through the highway here to make sure my grid stays intact. I do this so in the future if I have to upgrade a street into a highway, I can do that without worrying about having to destroy too many buildings. Next, I'm going to keep expanding south and build out my grid first before zoning anything down here. So now that that's done, I'm going to start zoning with residential since we still have some demand. Before I do that, I'm going to check to make sure I'm not misusing the land by checking for any resources. Again, I'll add some commercial near the highway intersection. From time to time, I like to check the land values for areas of the city I've built. As you can see, our average land value is just $5. I live in the US, so I contextualize the game in terms of the US economy. Industrial demand is rising, so I'm going to check resources. Looks like we have some forest area, so I'm going to expand the birdsong forestry area down this way and add some more trees so that we can take advantage of our factories. That's all I have time for today. I hope you enjoyed this video. Make sure you like and subscribe to watch future episodes.